Fashion frames, frames, and fashion. Fashion frames, frames, and oh. Hi. Oh boy, what's going on, guys, and welcome to the very first episode ever of Feenux Fashion Frames Fridays. Try saying that 5 times fast. I gotta tell you, this was the hardest thing that I've ever had to do, and yeah, that's probably an exaggeration, but it was really tough, okay? You guys sent in some really awesome submissions, and guys, I gotta say, I was not expecting as many submissions as I got. It was insane. There were tons of stuff. You guys wrote amazing stories. Oh man, there's some really cool stuff that we're gonna see later here. But first of all, I just want to reiterate that this is a contest. It is going to be a weekly thing on my channel if this does really well, and I'm really hoping it does because I was really excited about it, and you guys seem really excited about it. So what I went ahead and did is I picked a top 3 winners for each platform, so PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox. And then I will choose a winner from each of those platforms, just to reiterate. And again, if you didn't catch it in the Fashion Frames rules video, the theme was most badass frame. So put together the most badass frame you can, no limitations on that, just put together whatever you think is the coolest. Now, I don't really have any set criteria or guidelines for judging this kind of thing. I just went with whatever I thought looked really cool. And one of the big things too, and I didn't realize this until I started getting into the submissions, was that I really like the stories you guys put with your stuff. Man, some of you put like whole epic, you know, just all kinds of stuff, and what makes me really sad about this is I won't have time to feature everything. And I know you guys are probably like, just shut up and get into it, but we will here in a second, I promise. But I just want to let you guys know that I had a blast looking through your submissions. I loved it. I love the effort you guys put into this, man. It was awesome. And you know, I let some of the Warframe, you know, community members know, some of the people that actually work at DE, I let them know what an awesome community they have here with you guys, and I'm very proud of you guys. You guys put together some really awesome stuff. So, that being said, I'm gonna slip into something a little bit more comfortable, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Oh man, so much better. Alright, so now that I'm comfortable and ready to go, let's jump into the top 3 Feenux Fashion Frames submissions for PC. Our first PC submission comes from user Joe Rowe, and he has this to say about his fashion frame submission. Thematically, when I first saw Gersemi skin for Valkyr, it reminded me a bit of Alien. From there, it was a bunch of leaps and bounds to where the skin ended up for me as an 80s techno future, heavily inspired by the colors of Far Cry Blood Dragon. It's cliche as hell, but I love it so far. It looks like the go-go dancer of the future. The one thing I love with the skin is that I can use matching weapons with it for great overall theme. Quanta Vandal and Static Ore both shoot out nauseating amounts of bright pink laser light shows. I do kind of cheat, leaving my Dragon Nakana just because I love it with Valkyr. Thankfully, there's enough laser swords in Space Ninja games, so if you need to stick with the theme as much as possible, you definitely can. You know, I gotta say, Joro, I really loved your theme, man. I've been listening to a lot of new wave music lately, and to me, this sounds like a Warframe and looks like a Warframe that somebody from Carpenter Brute would use when they're playing this game. Thank you so much for your submission, man. It looks fantastic. Our next entry comes from user Spruce Bruce, and he says, went with something simple for Nova Prime, one of the best looking frames in my opinion, and especially now with her new Signy skin. For most of my frames, I prefer a smooth white primary with black accents. The mint green from the St. Patrick's Day color palette is an incredibly nice, soothing color, especially with the new Tenogen Aqueous Cyandana. Almost every single color you can think of goes well with a primary white/black scheme. I often have people running up to me to get a better view. Was also considering cropping out the UI for a couple of the shots, but I don't know how to disable or hide the UI. Anyway, enjoy. Even if I don't make top 3, perhaps this could inspire a fellow fashion frame lover with some fresh ideas for some new looks. Man, that was a tongue twister, but dude, fantastic Nova. I love Nova. I love how she colors. I love my own Nova, and this one looks amazing. I'm actually thinking about maybe trying out this color palette myself, and I gotta say, this is a pretty solid entry. I really like the green with the black. I think it looks awesome, especially that mint green color just really stands out. And I like how you left the prime accents on her, kind of a goldish color, like a coppery bronze. It's really nice. It really ties the whole ensemble together. But nice submission, Spruce Bruce. Very awesome. Thank you. And lastly for PC, we have a monster of a submission from Chubby's Curry McToast King, and he says, "Hey Bouse, my entry is my Spirit Guard Rhino. Obviously, his theme is somewhat ghostly/spectral temple guardian with a Japanese feel to it. Thus, I chose his Palatine skin as base, a darker gray base color with some minor details in mint and emerald green. The majority of his armor is greenish gray. As for accessories, I chose a mixture of different Prisma items and some pieces of the Bakal armor set, which both help giving his overall theme a little more spookiness. When this color scheme shines in combat, using his iron skin adds some kind of emerald green energy waves on his darker body, making him pop more. and combining this with melee channeling will make his armor and the soul thingy on his chest grow even more. As for the primary, I took the Paris Prime with the Abra skin and the Sindo Prime with its Kuberus skin in a similar color scheme because both look like spirit weapons this way, especially the Sindo. Oh, and my Prisma Shade. And thanks to his energy color, his skills look somewhat like Unholy Spirits, but I won't go into detail that much because you can see these in the second picture. Okay, so this frame looks freaking amazing, and not only does it look great, he also went through the trouble to put it into what looks like a comic strip. That is awesome dedication. I really appreciate you going through that effort just for this contest. That is awesome, dude. Very good looking frame. Very well done. So, guys, that pretty much concludes it for top 3 for PC. I will announce the winners for each platform at the end of the video, so stick around and let's move on to the top 3 for PS4. Alrighty, so moving on. Fantastic job again, PC players. Let's see what the PS4 players can do. Alright, and our first contestant for PS4 goes by the name of Lord Taylor, and he submitted this beautiful black and red Oberon. I really like the way that you went with the Salix Syandana and, you know, kind of matched the carrier, stuff like that. Boltor Prime is a really fantastic looking weapon, and Oberon is a great looking frame. I like the simplicity of this Warframe because he's not using a whole lot of attachments. I mean, attachments are great, cosmetics are awesome, but sometimes less is more, and Oberon is really one of those frames that plays well to that. Now, Lord Taylor didn't actually give me any background information on his Warframe, but man, thank you so much for submitting. I love Oberon, I love the way that he looks. I don't necessarily like the way that he plays, but fantastic looking frame, dude. Let's move on. Our next PS4 submission comes from user Stark Towers, and he says, "This is my Valkyr, my favorite frame in the game. I've been playing since the day PS4 was released in North America, and she's my favorite frame ever since I got my hands on this psychotic kitten. Running Hysteria is so fun and relaxing as I don't have to worry about death and can be of great use to my squad when we need a life support capsule activated or when I need to make a revive. Where I find the most fun is running my Eternal War Valkyr build with slower weapons like the War, Jack Attack, and the Sindo Prime. Yellow is my favorite color, so voila. I also included my Kubro Bark Towers. The Kubro game is an underrated gem, and I couldn't pass up the opportunity to make a pun off my PSN. So first of all, man, I really appreciate you submitting. I love yellow Warframes. Actually, I use a lot of blue, but when I'm not doing that, I have a couple other Warframes that are yellow as well. My Mesa is yellow, my Zephyr is yellow. I love the color combinations you used, how you went with the black, the white, and kind of had that contrast there. I also like how you included your Kubro with the accessories on him. I like how you guys matched together. Very nice submission, man. Very great looking frame. Thank you for participating. And lastly, our final submission for PS4 comes from user Sergio, and he says, "Well, I chose the smoke colors in the Shamrock Orange so that I can look like a Prime, because I couldn't get Volt Prime yet." Well, Sergio, Volt Prime or not, this is still a fantastic submission. I love the black and the gray and how you kind of mixed it all together with the orange there. Very minimalistic, some would even say edgy, but I really appreciate it. I think you did a really good job with this, and I really appreciate your submission. Thank you so much, man. Alrighty, PS4 contestants, thank you so much for entering. Those were fantastic. I loved all of them, and I had a lot more that I couldn't show for both PC and PS4, but only so many can make it into one video. That being said, let's go ahead and move on to Xbox. Alrighty guys, we're getting down to the wire here, and our last console is going to be Xbox One, so I'm a little disappointed in you Xbox players. I only got one submission. Actually, I really got two submissions, but I could only use the one because the other one didn't have a picture attached to it, so you guys gotta step up and represent, man. That being said though, our last entry for Xbox is actually really fantastic, and I would have chosen this one anyway, so don't feel like you just won by default, because your entry was actually fantastic. This entry comes from user FazeFins, and he says, "I chose black and white for a dark approach, which fits his theme very nicely. The area I chose was the Orican Moon because it is a very dark and gloomy place with some amazing backgrounds. Its theme fits Necros very well, knowing they are both dead." Well, FaceFins, your entry was fantastic, dude. I gotta say, I love the black and white, the black on black kind of feel you got going for your Necros here. It really works well for him. He's more of a dark and brooding theme. A lot of players like to think of him as the Grim Reaper, so I feel like your theme fit him, as you said, very nicely, and I really appreciate your submission. Okay, so this has been pretty exciting so far, right? There's been a lot of really good submissions. Hopefully those of you that didn't submit kind of got some inspiration maybe for next time, seeing what some of these top, 3 people look like for each of the platforms. I know I've really enjoyed doing this, and like I said, I've gotten so many submissions that I can't show them all, but what I can do, before we jump into the winners, is show you guys some honorable mentions. Let's check those out real fast. Alrighty, Bouse Nation, and now the moment you've all been waiting for. It is time to reveal the winners of the first ever Feenux Fashion Frames Fridays. Let's hop over. Alrighty, guys, and our first winner for PC Feenux Fashion Frames Fridays is none other than Chubby's Curry McToast King. He did a fantastic job presenting his frame, customizing it. It looked amazing. Now, I don't want you guys to feel like you have to go that far to win. It's not really that necessary. I think it was a nice little added touch. Overall, I really chose him because his frame looked amazing. So thank you, Chubby's Curry McToast King, for your over-the-top entry. I really appreciate it, man. Good job. Alrighty, guys, and moving on, our PS4 winner is Stark Towers with his Kubro Bark Towers. I loved this Valkyr. I love the coloring. I love the orange, yellow, and black. It's an amazing frame. He did a really, really good job. I really enjoyed this PS4 submission. Thank you so much for submitting, man. Fantastic job. And lastly, this should come as no surprise, our Xbox winner is FaZe Fins with his awesome black-on-black Necros. I actually really, really liked this. And even if there were more submissions, this probably still would have made it into the top 3 and maybe even won. It was a fantastically done frame. Very well done, man. Thank you so much for participating. And this should be a lesson to you Xbox people out there. Step up and represent your console. Alright guys, so wow, right? That was pretty awesome, and like I said before, it was so hard to choose, and there were so many different submissions that I got. I got almost 100 submissions just in the 3 days that the contest rules were up, so I can only imagine what it's going to be like with a full week's worth of submissions, and as this channel grows. So if you didn't win, or you didn't make it into the top 3, please don't feel bad, don't feel left out. I looked at and I read every single submission. So I made sure I went through, I checked everything that I saw. It's just that I can only fit so much into a video. Now, I know that I said at the end of the video I'll announce the theme. So next week's theme, Dark Souls 3 is on the horizon. I don't know if I have any Souls fans out there in the audience, but I am an avid Dark Souls player. I love Bloodborne, Dark Souls, anything like that. So in honor of Dark Souls 3 releasing in April, let's make our next theme Souls themed. Let's put forward our best Souls frame. So make your frame look as Soulsy as possible. It can be made from a character of the series. You can do, you know, certain color themes inspired by Souls. Just make sure that you send me an explanation explaining what you chose and why and what it's supposed to reflect in the Souls series. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. I had a blast doing this, and I cannot wait until the next Feenux Fashion Frames Friday. Have a good one, everybody, and thanks for watching. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe!